everybody. Thank you for coming back to Living to Do's channel and the review of Married at First Sight Season 14, Episode 14. It's called It's Just a Blip, something that Lindsay says. This was a cute episode. We'll start off a review with Katina and Olajuwon. They drive up to Vermont. They're all going to Vermont for the retreat for 2 days. And well, Olajuwon's behavior at the moment is a little bit better. He's saying that this is the first time that he's been in a relationship where he wasn't the leader, but he had a partner in the relationship. So it's a good sign. But Olajuwon, we can't count on him to behave well too much longer for a long period of time anyway. They had a little activity at the retreat. They got to walk the alpacas, and right before they came, one was born 15 minutes before they arrived, which kind of led to a baby talk, and Olajuwon didn't think that Katina was ready for babies in 2 years, that she doesn't have her act together like he does. All his bills are paid, all the sacrifices he made while being single, and during that time apparently she partied and get her act together. That's pretty much what he's saying. He's very condescending. The next couple we'll talk about is Noi and Steve. They're still talking about their social media post that she put up, and she's saying it's not about him, but she doesn't really say who it's about. When they get to the retreat, the first night he cuddles with her, tries to, but she's been kind of put off because of the conversation that she's too stubborn and immature to talk about, is her putting up subliminal messages about their relationship, but she says it's not. He is always trying. He's always the adult in the relationship, and this is more or less his daughter. He wants to cuddle with her, and she gets closer to him, but her arms are folded because she's immature, and her body is saying something her mouth can't, and she's frustrated and everything else, but she's just behaving like a child because she can't use her voice. And Steve wants her to unfold her arms so he can get closer to her, and she does, and he lays on her chest, and she acts like she wants to lay on her chest, but she is very immature about it. At dinner, Steve wants to talk to the group about the social media post that she put out, and she doesn't want to talk about it, and she feels that she's being ambushed by Steve, but he's saying the same thing you're saying. You don't want to talk about it in front of all these people, and he doesn't want you to put social media post out to the world. It hurts him. He's vocalized this, and you haven't said anything, but when you want not to talk about it in front of people, he obliges you, and you're just being really inconsiderate. Later, after the trip on their way home, she discussed that she's feeling a certain type of way about losing her studio apartment. And I don't know if she had that subliminal message about the apartment. And if you did, say something. You can talk about it. It's not that deep. She says if you think you deserve something better than you do. But is she talking about the apartment? Is she talking about the relationship? She just doesn't open up and say what she's really saying. And I just think she's talking about Steve. That's why she can't open up. Okay, so the next couple we'll talk about is Jasmina and Michael. Oh, on the way up to the ride, Jasmina says they need to build a deeper relationship connection before she can say yes on decision day. Deeper connection, deeper connection. She says the same thing to me. It just sounds like an excuse. Then try to build one. Take steps towards building that deeper connection. Michael asked her to rate the relationship, and she rates it a 5. She says it has to be higher than a 5 before she can say yes on decision day. And when he was asking her about rating it, he did say something that was funny now. He was wondering if she relates rates their relationship like Will and Jada. And it's just the timing of that, of all that's happened, unfortunately, at the Grammys. Or that didn't happen when this was recorded. This was recorded a lot earlier. So was he mentioning or in referring to the entanglement? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know how Michael views Will and Jada's relationship. You know, if the Oscar thing had gone down, I don't think he would have mentioned them. They visited a medium during their activity with at the retreat, and the medium that they talked to kind of was, I don't know, she was fishing out things about Michael. She was saying something happened to him between the time he was 3 and 5, and that was when his brother was killed. And the medium says something about the chest, and he says yes, his brother was shot in the chest. She mentioned something about 13, and apparently their age difference. There's 13 years age difference between the two of them. The medium thought they had a beautiful bond, so she sensed. And she believes that Michael loved Jasmina at first sight. And when we think back, he said, wow, when he first saw her. He just was blown away by her beauty. The medium says that she will regret if she says no on decision day. And if she does, it'll be 5 years before Michael will be in a relationship, will find his person. And it will be 1.5 years before Katina finds her person. Okay, the next couple was Lindsay and Mark. Mark and Lindsay arrived in Vermont first. Lindsay was very excited. You know how she gets uber excited about everything. They were talking, and but before that, she was playful, very playful with Mark. Mark even asked her to stop. She didn't. And then one time, they were just talking, and Mark said that his activity that he picked out was sound bath because she's hyperactive. And because of that, because he said the word hyperactive referring to her, she flipped. She got mad. She was hurt. She thought he was rude with the comment. I don't see anything about that being rude. But they went ahead and they did the sound bath activity. And it looked like it was interesting. It was to clear the chakras. They had these big bowls, and they were had some type of instrument hitting against the bowl to make sounds, and they were laying down. And I think Mark fell asleep during it. And Lindsay liked it. He picked the activity for her. And they seem to get back to right. She can really, when she's mad, and then when she's over it, she gets over it pretty fast. It's still kind of weird. I just think she's manic. When they all got to the retreat, the men were cooking, except Olajuwon. Funny how he's always talking about cooking, wanting Jasmina to cook. I'm sorry, not Jasmina, Katina. And he's the one sitting down when all the men were preparing the meal, their first meal, and all the ladies were outside in the jacuzzi. Steve asked for feedback on his relationship regards to the social media post that Noi put out. And Olajuwon, his feedback was that needs to stop, and it does. Noi needs to get better with that. I don't know how much time it's going to take for her to realize what she's doing is not right. So at the group dinner, it was basically Steve that did all the cooking, and they seemed to enjoy what he made. They also had a field day, one of their activities for the group, and they broke up into 2 teams. I didn't like the team names, Undertaker and Gravediggers. Morbid. One thing to note in here is that one of the activities that they played was dodgeball. Looked like a lot of fun, but Steve really belted Katina with the ball. When he struck her hard, she looked like she was shot when she fell to the ground. It was funny. It was Katina's not athletic at all. They played a game at night called Most Likely. And some of the questions was, well, who's most likely to be the biggest liar? And everybody said Jasmina, and Jasmina agreed. She even said she put her name down as well. And I can see that too. She kind of looks like Sneaky Peek. Um, they asked another question, who's most likely to be a stay-at-home parent, and Noy said her. She was, because that's what she wants. And then Lindsay, in this confessional, she says, how will that work with a jobless husband and a stay-at-home mom? Now, if someone made that remark to Lindsay, you know how she would be up in arms, recoil, like she the person that she is, because she can only dish it, she cannot take it. They said that who was most likely to lie about sex, and they also Lindsay made a comment. Oh, that she was, because she tells Mark that he's good, right in front of everybody. You know, he called you hyperactive, and you lost it, and you're gonna tell this man, or say this man is not good at sex in front of all these people and the cameras too. Lindsay, and they said who's most likely to start a fight. We all know Lindsay, because she had that famous plane fight with Olajuwon, which she was telling people what to do, and they stood up to her, and she recoiled again, cried to Mark. They had to ride in a separate bus because she can dish it, but she can't take it. When they were saying all this to her, she got a little pissed, it seemed, and she says her life, she rises to the top in life, and she doesn't care what everybody thinks of her. She was just, you knew she was hurt by her tone. She thinks so highly of herself, but no one thinks highly of her. Michael and Mark, they were talking about Lindsay. Apparently, they were out at the fireplace trying to start a fire. At least Mark was. It was just Mark and Lindsay, apparently, and we didn't see this. The cameras didn't catch it. And Lindsay got mad because Mark used her kerosene oil to start the fire, and she got mad about that. Oh my God, seriously, more than therapy, medication is needed for this person. So as Mark and Michael were talking, Lindsay interrupted, tried to interrupt, saying she wants to go home. And there was somebody, I think in production, trying to hold her back. She's just too wild, too just off her rocker. So Mark, he gets back to the room where she did not leave. She's in bed, and she's crying because Olajuwon was talking to her, and he told her that, the way she treats and talks to Mark, his energy changes. You change Mark's energy. And she was hurt by that, and she was crying. I think she knows that her behavior messes with other people, rubs them the wrong way. I don't think she knows what to do about it or how to ask for help. At least I hope she knows. When Mark left the room for a little bit, and when he left, she said to herself, it's going to be easy to say no to him. Wow, she's just too much. I don't know, Lindsay. You're an unhappy soul. During the middle of the night, Lindsay gets sick, and the next morning, Mark takes her to urgent care where she's throwing up. Apparently, she needs an IV. I don't know what she ate to make her sick. I know she was doing a lot of drinking, and that can make you dehydrated. Mark took care of her, took real good care of her, put all issues aside, was a champ, and rolled up his sleeves and took good care of her while they're rolling down the street and she's throwing up. Hand it to Mark. He's a real good guy. Whoever ends up with him, and I hope it's not Lindsay, will have a really good man. The last scenes, the rest of the group got together, and one sweet moment was Michael and Jasmina. They told the group about their experience with the medium, and it looked like they were growing closer. Michael was talking, and he was saying, complimenting Jasmina, and you could see that they were growing closer. They're sitting together, they're laughing and talking, but when he was speaking fondly of her, she was crying, and it just showed that she's letting her guard down a little bit. I hope it's, enough time for her to say yes on decision day. They make a cute couple. I think they were the organizers of the field day activities, and they dressed up in their t-shirts, and his said the boss and her said the real boss. And he's just playful. He lets her take the lead, I think. He's just a gentleman, Michael is. They were holding hands at the table in front of the group. It just seemed like they were getting closer. Um, they're getting closer, and Lindsay's not mentally well to be with anybody right now. That was basically the end of the show. There were some touching moments. I hope some of them will make a turn for the better. Jasmina and Michael, I really liked them when we first started, and they've been real rocky. And this scene, the last scene together, was the way I like to see them end up. I hope it will stay that way, but if not, I don't know. Well, that's it for now. I'll be back for episode 15. We're almost towards the end. Let's move a little faster. That's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. And you can find me on Fanbase, the new monetized app that is out. You can find me on Fanbase under the same name, Living to Do. Thank you for listening. Bye.